We can have your attention, please. We want to start the meeting on January 21st at 6:30. We will begin with a roll call, please. Here.
Here.
Yes.
Here. Here.
Thank you. Now we'll go to an invocation by Vice Mayor Woodrow Hay, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance and the flag, led by Commissioner Merker. If you'll please rise.
Let us all pray. God of all creation, you who make the sun rise and give us the gift of each new day, you who send forth the mighty winds and rains across South Florida shores, send forth your spirit upon our land and nation, so that from east to west, north to south, all of us may be a living and breathing reminder that you, Father, hold all things in the palm of your hand. Look upon the members of the staff of the great city of Boynton Beach. Fill us with the spirit of your wisdom. Bless our mayor, Jerry Taylor, and our city commissioners. May we always act in accordance with your will, and all the decisions that we make will be for the peace and well-being of all of our citizens. We are extremely grateful for the achievements of Boynton Beach High School. Be with us as we move forward into this new year 2014, rejoicing with you and supporting one another. We ask this all in your holy name, and let all God's people say, Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. If everybody would like to join me in the brand promise. It's time to take a look at Boynton Beach, complemented by excellent schools with a mission to educate, nurture, and inspire. Thank you.
That was perfect timing on
Perfect timing.
We'll have agenda approval. Any additions, deletions, or corrections to the agenda? Commissioner Merker?
Yes, thank you. I'd like to pull from the consent agenda 6E.
6E, like easy?
Easy.
Okay.
Mayor,
Yes.
I would like to pull from the consent agenda 6D, as in dog, delicious. And also, I would like to add an item to the agenda on the new business, item 12C,
Okay.
stormwater drainage on Northwest First Street and other areas.
Okay. Anybody else? Is there a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
So move.
Second.
A motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Show the motion is unanimous. We'll go now to informational items by members of the City Commission. I'll start tonight with Commissioner Casello.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I'd like to read a statement if I could. The 22 inches of rain that swamped Boynton Beach overnight on January 9th was a once in every 1,000-year meteorological event, according to the National Weather Service. This record rainstorm tested all of our resources to the limit, manpower and equipment. City employees did an outstanding job during and after the storm, under the most extreme conditions, keeping the citizens of Boynton Beach safe. I would like to commend our public safety departments, fire and police, who worked through the night rescuing residents and cars, and our utilities department, who, needless to say, worked around the clock to alleviate the results of this storm. In addition, the city manager was available 24/7. The communications manager manned the phones on Friday. She pushed social media notifications on traffic and safety issues and handled press inquiries. And the assistant city manager, even as of today, continues to assist residents working with state agencies on assessing the damage and pulling departments together for an after-action meeting. This storm confirmed that we need a better plan of readiness, one that includes educating the public on the responsibilities of local and state agencies during severe weather conditions, and providing emergency phone numbers for each. In addition, residents in each district should know how to contact their commissioners for assistance. In light of all this, we learned we have another weakness: a city hall that is not open on Fridays. Although emergency numbers were being manned, City Hall was closed, upsetting residents. The work week was originally reduced as a cost-saving measure during a down economy. It should be noted that building inspectors work on Friday. The police lobby is also open, but residents are not able to obtain and pay for the reports, and all of this creates confusion. In light of the overtime that was paid during the storm and the diminished customer service, I'm asking the city manager to bring to this commission a plan, including financial implications on reopening City Hall back to a 5-day work week, restoring our city government back to full-time customer service. The taxpayers want, demand, and deserve it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Commissioner Merker?
Yours truly went to the first code board meeting with the new magistrate. I found it very professional. I found it very well run, and I believe we did the right thing with her background. Number two, on January 12th, there was an article in the Sun Sentinel, and I'd say maybe a month ago, maybe a little more. We have like the Pirate Fest and different festivals here, and one of the issues was food vendors. And this article here talks about the merchants who rent, who pay, who are the taxpayers, and their concerns about having too many vendors at these special events. I think it's something that we should reconsider, talk about, and as they said in their paper in the town of Delray Beach, let's come up with a comfortable solution. The last, let me see how I want to say this. I never had the experience before to walk in the Martin Luther King walk. It was my first experience this past Monday. I'll define it as a privilege and an honor. Some of the people on the commission, let alone some of the people in the city, know that my passion, that's all I read, I'm the most boring man in America, is American history. And the feelings that I personally gathered by taking this walk was a wonderful feeling of togetherness. And people really understand what Martin Luther King was all about. He wasn't about one group of people, he was about all groups of people. And from the Caucasian race, I found this walk and my readings a very warm and glowing feeling. And I look forward to next year's, and I thank everybody for the invitation. And I would very much like to volunteer, because I think the importance of the Martin Luther King Walk is not just one community feeling good, but it's all the communities of all different groups of people. It's a coming together, and as I started, that's what I felt. And I thank everybody for this invitation and this privilege to take this very pleasant walk. And I thank you.
Vice Mayor Hay?
Without repeating what had been said, I concur with Commissioner Casello. That's why I added the drainage discussion on the agenda. Also, I concur with Commissioner Merker. I would like to add that that was the first time that I can remember that we had all 5 members of this City Commission present at that march, and that was quite an honor, and it was recognized and was talked about quite a bit So I want to congratulate you, and we will put you to work, okay?
My pleasure. Thank you.
Also, I had the honor of attending the Chamber luncheon. Again, we still have many businesses that are joining the Chamber, which is a good sign that the economy is really picking up. On last Wednesday, I had the opportunity to walk with the city employees on the Let's Move Boynton campaign. I had the energy, if you can believe it, to do both sets of walk. We walked once at 12, and then the second walk was at 1. And I had to rest between the two walks, but I did make those walks. And on tomorrow, Channel 12 will be here to film city employees doing that 1.8 mile walk. And I'm sure that some of you have heard, like I've heard over the TV, that and other places, that other cities and other companies are joining the Let's Move campaign, which is good. And they are saying that the team that you need to beat is that Boynton team. So we are the defending champs, and I'm sorry to let them know right now, we're going to continue to be the champs. Right? All right. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Also, let me congratulate our utilities department on a job well done during this critical time of flooding in the streets. They came out and they did an outstanding job. So I want to congratulate them. Last but not least, in the paper on Sunday, January the 19th, was this great article about Boynton booming from east to west. A fantastic article on really saying that Boynton is back on the right track. The economy is picking up. We have a lot of projects. We have a lot of irons in the fire, and Boynton is the place to be. If you go south, it's too expensive. If you go north, it's too crowded. Boynton is the place to be. So we have a lot to be proud of, in addition to our high school, and we should be proud to live in Boynton Beach. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Fitzpatrick.
As most people are aware of, I'm interested in getting some greenways in Boynton. And one of the places were potentially places along the canals banks. So on January 8th, I did a little reconnaissance trip to the Lake Worth Drainage District annual board meeting for elections. And there was like a half-hour report from the director on what has been accomplished in the last year, and I was very impressed. That is a very professional organization doing a good job, and who knew less than 24 hours later would be their trial of outside of a hurricane. And when the reports are coming in about 22 inches and this and that, frankly, I was very confident within 24 hours it would be mostly gone, because the meeting I attended the day before, and I felt Lake Worth Drainage District generally has the situation well in hand. The other thing, that night before the deluge, myself and Commissioner Casello and Vice Mayor Hay went to Delray Beach's Town Hall lecture series, which was moderated by the mayor of Delray, Carrie Glickstein, and it was about downtown redevelopment and what makes great cities, and by an author apparently well known, and so that was very interesting and educational. I also attended a Seacrest Heights Neighborhood Association meeting. I went to the fire department charity pancake breakfast, and that night to the Martin Luther King banquet and CRA meeting, and then last Wednesday I went to the 750 Summit meeting down at Port Everglades. There was Carice Lejeune and Scott Klein also attended, so we had a good representation from Boynton Beach. And well, a couple of things were good about this is they had the 3 mayors of the South counties. 750 refers to 7 counties. What are they going to look like in 50 years? And the 3 mayors from Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach County. Our mayor is Priscilla Taylor, and with the Broward mayor, there was 2 African-American women on 2 large counties, and I was just thinking how Martin Luther King would have thought about that. And the prediction is there's 6 million people in South Florida. In the next 50 years in this 3-county area or 7-county area, there'll be 9 million. So that's something we got to plan for. On Thursday, last Thursday, was supposed to be the South Central Waste Management Board meeting, but it was canceled due to a lack of a quorum, which means they couldn't get 3 people from Boynton and 3 people from Delray.
They only need 2 now.
2. You only need 2
Only
now?
need 2.
We
They
still
couldn't
couldn't get a
get 2.
They
quorum?
couldn't get 2 from Delray.
All right, well, I
We had
tried.
2 from Boynton.
We had Boynton was covered.
All right.
Yes, make that point.
Yeah, I wasn't sure why, but I knew it was. And then I also attended Martin Luther King March Monday, yesterday.
Thank
That's
you.
it.
I also did the chamber luncheon, the MLK March, the pancake breakfast, which is really outstanding. Fire department always does a great job, gets a great turnout. And I also had the honor of representing Boynton this Sunday in the Mayor's Parade at the South County Fair. There was mayors from all over the county there, and we all were on cars riding through the whole fair. It was very nice, and we got a lot of yay Boynton as we went through there. So I was really pleased with that. Also want to thank Utilities and Public Works for the outstanding job they did. I've been in Boynton Beach since 1980. I've never seen between 17 and 22 inches of rain fall within that short period of time. So it was really something that gave us a new experience. But I want to thank those people and all the other employees of the city that went out and really did a tremendous job to try and put the city back on some dry land. Well, thank you. Anything else? Okay. We'll move on then to the next item of business is to accept the Florida League of Cities Municipal Achievement Award for the City of Boynton Beach Heritage Education Program, which is the winning entry in the, quote, Teaching Your City's History and Heritage, unquote, category. Presenting the award is the Honorable P.C. Wu, the Florida League of Cities President and also the Councilman of the City of Pensacola. Good evening and welcome to Boynton.
Good evening.
Evening.
Before I get in my formal remarks, I want to tell you how impressed I am, Mayor Taylor, council members, staff, citizens of your beautiful city. Not many cities have a high school built in 1927, sitting right next door to an elementary school built in 1913. Not many cities have 50 historical sites designated for people to come and look. Not many places have gone to a cemetery and employed x-rays to find out where people were located. You have so much to be proud of, and y'all have done such a remarkable job. And Mr. Mayor, City Manager, Council, it all starts with you and the staff. Let me just start off at the beginning now with the remarks that I have for tonight. As the Mayor mentioned, I'm P.C. Wu from Pensacola, Florida, and if you would allow me to do a quick, shameless 2-second plug, Pensacola is the first settlement in America. We were settled in 1559. So we have celebrated our 450th birthday, of which the King and Queen of Spain came and helped us celebrate. We're also known as the cradle of Navy aviation and the home of the Blue Angels. Now, I know your mayor is an Air Force loyalist, but I assured him at dinner that we now have over 1,000 Air Force personnel in Pensacola as well. But it is such an honor to be here, because my interest in history also comes from the fact that I grew up in Savannah, Georgia. So to come here and present an award for historic preservation is quite an honor. It is an honor for me to be with you this evening to present the coveted Municipal Achievement Award. And Mr. Mayor, if I can get you to come down so I can present it to you, for your winning entry, Boynton Beach Heritage Educational Program. Your excellent Entry 1 in the category of teaching your city's history and heritage. Last year, as a partner in Viva 500 initiative, the Florida League of Cities launched the History Happened Here campaign to educate Florida residents and visitors alike about the rich history of Florida cities. The Florida Municipal Achievement Award is a continuation of that effort. In recognition of the Viva 500 year, our Municipal Achievement Award focused on activities designed to celebrate a city's history, honoring heritage, people, and historical events to make a city unique. And talking about unique, I don't know many cities that have a mangrove trail in the middle of downtown. And it's the teaching your cities and history category that won you focus on municipalities creating educational opportunities and forums where the city's history is taught, shared, and celebrated. Boynton Beach nomination is outstanding, and I'm honored to present you with the Municipal Achievement Award. Mr. Mayor.
President Wu, I just want, on behalf of all of the residents of Boynton Beach, thank you for taking the time to fly down here and present us with this award. It means a lot. We're very proud of our history in Boynton Beach. We work hard to maintain it and keep it for the children that will come behind us so they will know from where we came. And again, thank you so much, and we're very proud to have won this award. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. The only thing that I'd like to point out, if you notice, this has 4 screws and a piece of glass and a big piece of wood. If you can imagine what they said at the airport when I left. The only way that I was able to get on the plane, the airport's in my district. And I also want to acknowledge Mr. Adams' work on doing what, how about a big hand for...
Adam, we want your picture too, because you're really responsible for a lot of this. It wouldn't be here without you. Thank you so much. Can you get a picture? You take it out, okay.
For those that don't know, Warren is our historic preservation planner, and he's been with the city now for a couple of years, 2 years, 3 years, and has, I will say, single-handedly has brought a tremendous preservation program to the city, and he is just phenomenal at what he does, and he really deserves all the credit. You do.
Thank you so much, Warren. Appreciate it. Now, if Principal Karen Wetzel, is she here, would join me at the podium. Good evening. Good evening. Now, this is presented commendation to the Boynton Beach High School for achieving an A rating, and accepting the award will be Principal Karen Wetzel. I, Jerry Taylor, Mayor of the City of Boynton Beach, on behalf of the City Commission and our citizens, would like to formally and publicly commend the principal, teachers, staff, and students of Boynton Beach High School for achieving a level of excellence by earning an A rating. The mission of the Boynton Beach High School is to graduate students who have achieved academic excellence and have developed dignity, respect, and personal responsibility in a safe and caring learning environment. This extraordinary commitment to excellence begins at the top with Principal Karen Wetzel, who through her leadership and support empowered teachers and staff to motivate and inspire students in achieving maximum performance. The example set by Boynton Beach High School has had a positive impact on the entire community, and everyone involved deserves to be congratulated and rewarded for achieving their goals of academic success that will help students realize their personal dreams. Boynton Beach High School offers top choice programs and innovative teaching techniques. Their academies offer an $8 million performing arts center with a state-of-the-art black box theater, Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University has partnered with them to offer unparalleled studies in aviation and aeronautics. The Information Technology Academy, Culinary Academy, and Early Childhood Academies offer industry certification as well as preparation for college and career. The Advanced Placement and Honors classes provide a challenging foundation for college-bound students. Boynton Beach High School is truly one of the Palm Beach County's premier high schools, and we are extremely proud to have them as a cornerstone of our community. Now therefore I, Jerry Taylor, by the virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the city of Boynton Beach, Florida, recognize with this commendation Boynton Beach High School for their excellence in achieving an A rating. In witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the city of Boynton Beach, Florida to be affixed at Boynton Beach, Florida, the 21st day of January, 2014. Ms. Wetzel, on behalf of all of us in Boynton Beach, I can't tell you how proud you've made us in this city with your work at this school. We thank you so much.
Y'all are going to make me cry. Don't make me cry. I happily accept this commendation on behalf of the best teachers, the best staff, the best students in Palm Beach County. We are the best kept secret, not anymore probably, because we have now raised your property values, just so you know. But I do have to say that it's an honor to be up here, but I need those people that are representing our school to stand back there. I have administrators, teachers, parents, students. Come on, stand up. Come on. None of us do it alone. Thank you, and thank you for allowing us to be here tonight.
Thank you. Is Kimberly Grabert here? She'd come forward. Thank you. We're going to present her with a proclamation on January 2014 as Human Trafficking Awareness Month. I put my eyeballs back on. Whereas human trafficking is a form of modern-day slavery and is a crime against humanity that violates the most basic human rights and deprives victims of their freedom. And whereas human trafficking occurs when a person is recruited, harbored, obtained, or exported through force, fraud, or coercion for the purpose of sexual exploitation, forced labor, involuntary servitude, debt bondage, and other methods of slavery. And whereas human trafficking affects as many as 27 million people worldwide, including the estimated 2 million children who are trafficked for child labor and sexual exploitation. And whereas victims of human trafficking suffer emotional, psychological, and physical horrors at the hands of their captors who instill fear to keep them enslaved. And whereas human trafficking is the fastest growing criminal enterprise in the world today and is tied with arms smuggling as the second largest international criminal industry. And whereas human traffickers view Florida as one of the most attractive destinations and transit points for their victims. And Florida accounts for the third highest call volume to the National Human Trafficking Resource Center. Now therefore, I urge all residents to increase their awareness and understanding of human trafficking and commit to protecting the vulnerable and ending human trafficking through continued prevention, prosecution, education, and awareness. I, Jerry Taylor, by the virtue of authority vested in me as the mayor of the city of Boynton Beach, Florida, hereby proclaim January 2014 as Human Trafficking Awareness Month. In witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the city of Boynton Beach, Florida, to be fixed at Boynton Beach, Florida, the 21st day of January, 2014. I want to thank you for all the work you do to put an end to this really terrible, terrible situation. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for doing this today. I drove down from Orlando just to receive this today, and I'm looking forward to being able to present it to your task force here locally. I know when we talk about human trafficking, often people think it has nothing to do with their communities. So let me throw out there that this year, the Florida Department of Children and Families received 970 reports to our hotline on human trafficking and verified 221. And we currently have 175 children in our custody who we believe to be either involved in the commercial sexual exploitation of children or who have previously been. So it is a real problem. I hope you will take some time to become aware of the situation and to engage with your local task force. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The next item is the announcement and invitation to attend the Art al Fresco Satellite Exhibition at the Boynton Beach Arts District on Friday, January 24, 2014, from 7 p.m. to 10 a.m., located on West Industrial Avenue in Boynton Beach. Is somebody here want to speak that? Hi, Ms. Kobe.
Hi, Debbie Coles-DeBay, Public Art Manager. Thank you, Mayor Taylor, Commissioners. Yes, we want to invite everybody to attend this Friday's January 24th at the Art al Fresco at the Boynton Beach Arts District. It's just west of I-95 on Industrial Avenue. And this is the first of 6 satellite exhibitions promoted by Art Palm Beach, which is an international art fair. And that runs from January 23rd through to the 26th. And it's in International Art Fair is in Palm Beach County Convention Center, and it's supported by the Cultural Council of Palm Beach County. But the Art al Fresco that we're having here, the event that we're having here in Boynton Beach, is a one-night art, culture, music, and fashion event, and it's free to the public, so everybody's invited. Come for free. In addition, we're going to be providing a free bus tour from Art Palm Beach, and the patrons there who want to attend Art al Fresco will come down. They will travel to Boynton Beach in a luxury coach bus, and they'll tour the Avenue of the Arts in East Boynton and learn all about our wonderful city, as we've heard about tonight. And then they'll go visit the Art al Fresco at Boynton Beach Arts District. And then at 10, they'll be transported back to the Palm Beach County Convention Center. And the purpose of Art al Fresco is to attract the affluent consumer that is our city's targeted age demographic, and to generate greater awareness of our city's amenities and to increase cultural tourism as well as contribute to our economic development. So for more information, I have these cards in the back table. They're two-sided cards that has information about how you can sign up and register to do the bus tour if you're attending Art Palm Beach, the International Art Fair at the Convention Center, or if you just want to come straight to the Boynton Beach Arts District and enjoy the fair itself. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I want to make one correction. The event here in Boynton, as I read earlier, I threw an extra 0 in there. I said from 7 p.m. to 10 a.m. It's 7 p.m. to 1 a.m. And so
Thank you.
It's 1 a.m. So I want to correct that. So 7 p.m. to 1 a.m.
That's
here in
correct.
Boynton. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next announcement is the Kinetic Art Year in Review to be held on Wednesday, January 29th, 2014, from 1:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. at the Boynton Beach City Library as part of the What's on Wednesdays program in collaboration with the Art in Public Places program. Ms. Colbay, you'll want to talk to that too.
Certainly. That's another thing we'd like to have you all attend. That is in conjunction with the Boynton Beach City Library and Art in Public Places. We've collaborated together, and we're presenting the it's called Kinetic Art Year in Review. So we're going to have Rofonso and Ray Trefelt. They're both kinetic artists as well as founding members of the Kinetic Art Organization. They were participating in the 2013 International Kinetic Art Exhibit Symposium, and they'll participate in 2015. So you'll hear all about what's been going on internationally in large iconic public art placement of kinetics throughout the world. And you'll also hear about Ray Trefelt. He's very heavily involved with the Solar Tree Project, which this year he's engaged in implementing a program right here in South Florida. And the students of this charter school that are participating will then come to the Kinetic Symposium and showcase their work, showcase the program, and it's all about the STEAM principle that they'll learn. So there's a lot of great information about that. And then again, on 2000, we'll see videos about the Kinetic Symposium and learn more about the plans for the 2015. And one more thing I just wanted to add, as part of the Art Palm Beach International Art Fair, myself, Rain Treefelt and Rofanza, the kinetic artists, have been asked to speak on behalf of kinetic art up at the art fair, so we're going to be attend, and of course then we'll help to promote the International Kinetic Art Exhibit Symposium. So that presentation is going to be this Sunday, January 26th at 2 p.m., and that's up at the Palm Beach Convention Center. Any questions?
No, but I just want to congratulate you on being chosen as one of the speakers for this. You're doing a great job out there. Thank you.
And again, there's, postcards that you can learn about both events on the back. Thank you very much.
Thank you. This takes us to public audience. Anybody in the public wish to address the commission on items not on the agenda may do so at this time. We please come forward, give your name and address for the record, and try to make your comments in a 3-minute time period.
My name is Gillian Davis, and I live at 1037 Coral Drive, Treasure Island. I've been a resident taxpayer of Boynton Beach since 1957. And if you're interested in history, Commissioner Merker, I am history. I've taught every student in this area for 50 years. I've been teaching them. Some of you may remember me as Miss Gillian, who ran a dancing school. I taught generations of children here, including those of former mayors and commissioners. I've contributed more to this city than just taxes. I retired in 1983 after meeting my late husband. In 1984, we moved to our dream house on Treasure Island. We've had standing water problems in the past, and many is the time I've had to go through deep water to get to the mailbox because there is nowhere for the water to go. However, nothing like the disaster that struck with this great storm when our entire island became a lake. There are no drains, not on our side of Treasure Island. When all the other communities were flooded for days, ours was dry in no time because it all rushed through my yard and into the canal, taking some of my property with it. In addition, when my neighbor East was to build his house 14 years ago, the city required that he build it up. They did not require that he put any provision for the runoff, so that all goes through my drainage system as well. The city said it was not their responsibility. Lake Worth Drainage District called me today and said that my canal was not one of theirs. They believe that it belongs to the city, as I do. But in 2 similar cases in Delray on their canals, they are assisting the property owners in every possible way. I am a widow with limited income and limited time on this earth, and I cannot be expected to spend these on the drainage system for Treasure Island. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Commissioner Casella.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I took a special interest in Ms. Gillian's problem down there, the visitor property, and I was wondering if you afford the luxury of having Mr. Jeff Livergood come up and just give a little summary of what
I
is
think
actually...
the city manager is going to comment on some things we're doing to try and
Okay.
alleviate some of these things. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yeah, we've been contacted by the State Emergency Management, and they're going to be coming down Thursday to do an assessment of the community. Originally, Palm Beach County was not deemed or declared an emergency situation as a result of the storm because they did not meet the threshold requirements of damaged homes. Well, as we learn more and more from the areas that have suffered in our city, and obviously we got the blessing, or the not so blessing, I'm being facetious, of the deluge in our city rather than our surrounding cities. But we are currently still compiling our list of properties that we're becoming aware of that have received some damage, and we're going to be taking inspectors out there on Thursday to these properties to see if there's any, and if I misspeak at all, please come up, any possibility for some mitigation funds or repair funds for these properties. The governor's office has sent the team down. So, in addition to that, and taking a look at some of the areas, there are sporadic areas through the city that are very old neighborhoods that do not have storm drain systems installed. They didn't do that 50 years ago, and so we're dealing with low properties and so forth. But we're trying to get out and take some assessments of each of these areas and address it as best we can in our future capital programs. To do a citywide assessment of our entire storm drain system in this city would cost the city millions and millions of dollars. So we're kind of having to take a bit of a piecemeal approach as we can when funds are available to attempt to try to get some mitigation plans in place for some of these areas. We're limited in some of them on what we can do. That's why you'll see swales and drainage systems, basically swale areas and French drains and holes in the swales to try to hold some water. But if there's anybody out there that has not communicated to the city of damage or flooding that you've received, please help get that word out, because we only know by the reports we get or what we can visually see during the storm, and we can't cover every inch of every highway and street in the city. So your information to us is imperative.
Is this lady's property on the list that we're going to take a look at?
Yes, in
Yeah.
fact, I think
Thank you.
our utilities and Jeff will be visiting with her tomorrow to see if there's, what help we can offer.
Thank you.
And just to add to everything that the city manager said, which was absolutely correct, the state inspectors will be meeting with Palm Beach County Department of Emergency Management officials, and through the Palm Beach County, they will be visiting Boynton Beach. It's our responsibility, though, however, in advance to send our building inspector out to verify the flood damage of the properties in Boynton Beach, so that I can submit a list to the Palm Beach County Department of Emergency Management by tomorrow evening. So again, to reiterate what the city manager said, I would urge everyone to contact me. You can contact Carice Lejeune in the city manager's office first thing tomorrow morning if you have a property that needs to be assessed. We have a very, very short timeline, so if we can't get a inspector out tomorrow to verify the damage, it will not appear on the list that we give to the state representative.
Thank you.
I'd just like to say I'd like to commend the city for staying on top of this and moving this issue forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you. David Katz, 67 Midwood Lane. Just want to play this and just do a little bit of this for members of the commission. Okay. Everybody understand what I'm saying? Okay. Enough of that. I'd like to ask our city manager, Lori, whatever your last name is. That's an inside joke. That if your senior staff closed off all the bridges and lanes going out of Boynton Beach, that you would have knowledge of that.
Did what?
Okay, forget it. Okay, over your head. Anyway, I live in the Meadows, a community of over 1,300 residents and probably close to 3,000 people, and we experienced some of the heaviest flooding of that 22 inches. And staff came out there and they drained the two entrances, did a great job. The mayor and Commissioner Casello came out to assess the damage. But it's my understanding that the TV station also asked Commissioner Merker to come out there, and he said, and this is a gentleman who's pretty well told about most people involved in the city, that he wants to run for mayor next time. Where's the Meadows? And let me say that if in fact you do run for mayor, I will personally pay for a letter explaining how you didn't know where the Meadows was during that tragic time that we had there. Thank you.
Comment, please?
Go ahead.
As I stated last time, ignorance is terrible. Stupidity is even worse. It seems, and I'm sorry, it seems that all of a sudden there's a confrontation that's building between us. Why, I personally really don't know. But I'm not a person to hold back. As many of you have found out, I'm not afraid to say yes or no on an issue. And I will not take negativity lightly. So if the battle is to begin, let's do it. It's my pleasure. If you have nothing better to do, then pick on an individual. If I were you, I'd communicate with your children. Talk to them. Let them understand who you are. Because the word on the street is you lack communication. So I'm sorry to do this, but I will not sit here, make nice to a person who has nothing better to do with himself but be offensive and ugly. And I'm sorry, but I will not take week after week his nonsense. And I'm sorry again.
Next person, please.
Joyce and Sam Frazier, 2490 Northwest 1st Street. I'm here to complain about the inadequate drainage system on my street, Northwest 1st Street. I'm disappointed and angry with the city of Boynton Beach. Disappointed because the problem didn't just begin. I complained to the city back in the 90s. The road in front of my house floods after a heavy rain. I asked the city to install storm drainage. They refused and decided to dig swells on the entire street. I was disappointed with the city when the state of Florida decided to 4-lane Gateway Boulevard I-95 overpass because it created a greater flood problem for the residents on my street when it rained. Remember, the city only dug swells for the rain, while the swells that the city failed to maintain over the years and now have filled in with dirt. The state hauled truckloads of sand in to elevate Gateway Boulevard. When I leave my home to go to Gateway Boulevard, there is a 4 to 5 feet incline. We are located between I-95 and Seacrest Boulevard, both with a higher elevated, making our street a valley between two major roadways. When it rains, water runs to the lowest level, which happened to be my street. On January the 9th, 2014, the city experienced a torrential downpour. Our street became a lake. My house became a pond. I had water around my ankles. Every room of my house had water damage. I'm angry because 2011, I retired and remodeled my entire house. All was destroyed. Thousands of dollars. Unfortunately for me, I did not have flood insurance because I was told I did not live in a flood area. I'm angry with the city of Boynton Beach when I could go east of Seacrest on Gateway and see storm drains every 20 feet on both sides of the road when I could not get one. I ask you, is it fair? I know the 5 of you were not in office when I first requested the storm drain, but you're in office tonight. This is a city-created problem having inadequate drains. Tonight, I'm asking for your support for storm drainage on my street, Northwest 1st Street. Thank you.
Yes, Vice Mayor Hay.
I don't know would this be in order, but what was just stated before and what was just stated then is why I added this item. And if we can just talk about it a little bit now, we don't have to deal with it.
Go ahead. It fits what we're talking about.
Shouldn't we get done with public audience first?
Because you put it on the agenda.
Okay, we'll do that.
Okay, we'll wait. Go ahead.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. Mike Simon, Assistant Director with the Boynton Beach CRA, 710 North Federal Highway. I just want to take the opportunity to announce the beginning of our concert and movie series, January through May. And we just had our January movie and concert. The movies are Movies in the Park, and they're at Dewey Park, which is on East Ocean Avenue there, just on the corner of 4th and Ocean Avenue. And the next movie will be held on February 7th at 7 p.m. That's free. And there'll be popcorn and other vendors there for folks to get popcorn and different things. But that is a free event. Also on February 20th is the next free concert. That'll be a reggae band, so Sweet Justice, which is an excellent band. They've performed for us before. That's February 20th. We've moved the concert series from in the past on Friday now to Thursday, from 6 to 8 p.m. at the amphitheater next to the Schoolhouse Children's Museum. And also wanted to bring to the attention of everyone that the CRA-sponsored Boutique Market, which experienced its first Sunday at Dewey Park this past Sunday, is another free event. and that's from 10 until 2 p.m., again at Dewey Park every Sunday. So we hope that everyone will come out and participate in these free events. I think we've had some good turnout thus far, despite the cool weather last Thursday and some wind on the first movie, but just want to make sure that we got that out to the public. Thank you.
Thank you. As you know, I was there Thursday, and it was cool, but when I counted over 80 people there, and I believe at other times there were over 100.
Yes, sir.
Even though it was cold, people came out and really
We had
enjoyed
heaters
it.
and everything. It was great. Thank you. Thanks for coming out, too.
Yeah.
Doug Brueggemann, 713 Southeast 4th Street. Good evening, Mayor Taylor,
Good evening.
City Commissioners. I'm here tonight representing the Forest Park Neighborhood Association. We meet every third Wednesday of the month. Everyone's welcome. We're going to serve pizza at the next meeting. Please join us. We meet at First Presbyterian Church, which is located at 235 Southwest 6th Avenue. Our neighborhood would like to share our gratitude and give thanks for Rita Swan. Officer Swan is an integral part of our neighborhood. We are very thankful that Officer Swan is involved with us. One of the neighbors says, Rita is a rock star for our city, working with our neighborhood group. We would also like to thank Police Chief Jeff Katz for continuing the outreach program to the neighborhoods. The other topic that seems to come up quite often is Seacrest Boulevard. We understand that there are improvements planned for Seacrest Boulevard from Boynton Beach Blvd to Woolbright. We would like to share some of the things we would like to see. We would like to see garbage cans at the bus stops. We would like to see benches at the bus stops. We would like to see some landscaping, and we would like to see some new trees along Seacrest. We are looking forward to the improvements. In closing, I would like to thank Mayor Taylor and the City Commissioners for their service. Thank you.
Thank you for your input. Appreciate it.
Mayor Taylor and Commissioners, we're students at Florida Atlantic University. We're in the graduate program for public administration, and we just have a couple of questions, and this is our first time doing anything like this.
Can you give us your names?
Ursula Messin.
And Andrea Javier. We
Thank
both
you.
wrote, I wrote to Commissioner Mercer and you wrote to...
And I wrote to Mayor Taylor just recently. We just have a couple of questions. It's actually an assignment for our class, but but we
wrote an email, we didn't get
yeah.
a response, so...
So we're here. As of late, there are several public officials under fire in South Florida. I must admit that as a graduate student pursuing a career in public service, it is discouraging to witness. I have noted that you, Mayor Taylor, are regarded as being a leader with a vision, inspiration, and principles. Without further ado, my question to you is, what is the best advice to an altruistic and idealistic future civil servant like myself about the ethical implementations that there are included in responsibilities of public service?
Thank you for your question. I tell you, I have your on my tablet, and I'm currently working on a written response to you. So you'll be getting it back, a written response.
Okay, thank you.
And this is the same goal for me. I wrote to Commissioner Mercer. I wrote you an email, and basically what I asked was that I was wondering if I can get your perspective on a study commissioned by the City of Boynton Beach and released earlier last year that revealed a deeply rooted pattern of community relation issues and internal conflict within the Boynton Beach Police Department. Furthermore, the study uncovered numerous instances of police misconduct. As a result, as a resident of Boynton Beach and future public administrators, studies such as the above-mentioned raise questions regarding government responsiveness and ethical responsibility to its citizenry. My question to you is, how can public administrators effectively improve community relations as well as public perception of government after public trust in government has been diminished by negative press and revelations of misconduct?
Well, I'd like to answer, if you don't mind. See that gentleman over there? That distinguished gentleman with the police uniform? He's our police chief. That's Police Chief Jeffrey Katz. and I would love to sit down and talk to you, but I only have a short period now. And it goes like this. What you think, we don't have. That gentleman over there, because of that gentleman over here, the spirit he has, the energy that he has, is bringing people together. Often, and you might have heard me say earlier, that my passion is history. The purpose of history is to learn from history. And once you learn from history, you gather your thoughts, you put together your ideas, and you move forward. And that gentleman over there, our police chief, is doing that. There's always rumors and there's always stories, but thank God for our police chief. And to answer your question fully, pardon me for introducing the two of you, but that's the gentleman to talk to regarding any negativity, especially when it's rumor.
We both are criminal justice. We both got our bachelor's degree in criminal justice, so that's why we were particularly interested.
No, it's
in
fine.
this type.
I mean, it's fine. But remember something. You could read a history book, and you know this, you're bright women, that there's a perspective you get from one author. That's why personally, I only read history books that are at least 50, the person has passed away at least 50 years. I don't want to hear that prejudice from one side to the other. And then when you get it, then you read X amount of books. Like I just got finished reading my third or fourth book on Martin Luther King. Right now I'm reading The Bully Pulpit about Teddy Roosevelt and Taft. You have to read many and then gather your thoughts. But in the issue that you just said, that's the gentleman to question.
Mr. Costello?
Thank you.
Just a quick observation, girls. Since I've been here as a commissioner, and we realized we had a problem with the Boynton Police Department, and that's why we've changed from the top down with Chief Katz leading. I can tell you this about the new administration here in the police, is that Chief Katz has got a program where he's actually gone out into the communities and had neighborhood meetings with the residents to hear their concerns and their problems, and what is to each neighborhood there's a different problem, obviously, and he's taken those suggestions and those ideas and those problems, and he's brought back, and he's working on he works on plans to alleviate some of the problems that do exist. So he's proactive instead of reactive, and I think that's the best way any police department can work. Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Okay, Dr. Piotr Blas, 113 West Tara Lakes Drive, Boynton Beach, Florida, 33436. Before the young ladies leave, I want to say that I taught at Palm Beach Atlantic for 5 years, and I'm so proud of the spirit of that school, of the questions they raised, and frankly of the way you answered them. And I have to agree that Chief Katz is bringing great new reputation to our police department. So that's the first thing I would like to say. The second thing that I must say is that, although it's a little late, I want to wish everybody Happy Martin Luther King Day weekend. Our community has many outstanding African Americans and people of all backgrounds, and I think that Martin Luther King has a special meaning for us, including the street, the church, and so on. So please accept these best wishes. I also feel it's urgent, and I may have a new perspective to help Jillian Davis. First of all, somebody who taught for 50 years in the city, we should have a monument to her. But more seriously, as you may know, I'm kind of an expert on earthquakes, natural disasters, and typhoons and so on. What happened in Boynton, I read, is an event once in 1,000 years. I know if you have read that scientific piece. This was equivalent to a hurricane, except out of the hurricane season. And so I want to make a very strong suggestion to the city manager, to everybody involved. We need to speak to FEMA Nobody has mentioned that. This could make sense. It is an exceptional natural disaster. And if you want to entrust that to me, I will call them. I have spoken to them before, and perhaps we can get additional help.
They've already been down to
Wonderful.
South County, and they went out and inspected out in the west side, and they said there was no reason for FEMA funds.
Yes, the first answer from FEMA is no. That's always the beginning of a yes. Okay? So take it from me. I have spoken to them about numerous earthquakes, and so maybe we'll do it together next time, see what happens, all right?
Sure.
By the way, Senator Nelson used to be over FEMA. We have some pool. All right. So this is 2. I think I'm running out of time rapidly, but I want to say a couple more things. One is, as you know, this has been mentioned, we are very seriously looking at energy from the Gulf Stream. I know it seems like science fiction, but this is the 21st century. So there is now a number of students, even business interests, looking at how we could get energy out of Gulf Stream and get inexpensive energy to bring prosperity to this city. This, of course, is also part of the work of the emerging University of Boynton. May I have 30 more seconds? Real quick. Yeah. So this project is very important, and God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all I have to say.
Seeing no one else?
Oh,
Okay.
Oh my goodness. The trophy digger. She'll do it. She got it.
No one else. How could you miss us?
Didn't see you standing in line there.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners.
Good
I'm
evening.
Lori Wilkinson. I'm accompanied today by 2 friends with me, Jessica and Megan. Megan was such a star last week. We learned that they're now videotaping, so when she saw herself now, the sister wanted to join us too. So my Vanna Whites here are going to demonstrate this lovely trophy. Don't drop it. Don't break it. Excellent. This is the Mayor's Award trophy that is going to be handed out to the team that wins the barrier-free 5K on February 8th.
Fantastic.
It's pretty fancy, huh?
Very nice.
We've decided it's almost about the size of a 5-year-old. Megan's 6, and she just barely clears it. So it's about the size of a 5-year-old. Okay, I got it. Look. All right, so the barrier-free 5K is coming up February 8th. I know you guys can't see me now that I put that up there, but it's just such an awesome display. It is beginning at the Barrier-Free Park, which is on Congress Avenue and Southwest 30th Street in between Cross Point Elementary School and WXEL. It is going to walk through the beautiful community of Hunters Run, which if you have never been there, you're missing something amazing. It's like Fort Knox, though, so you got to know somebody. Maybe Commissioner Merker will let us in, you know. But this is an opportunity for people to go and see the beautiful community of Hunters Run. And we have a wheelchair division. We have an individual race. We have a team race. I'm going to tell you about that in a second. And we have a kids race, which is a 100-yard dash. The kids race begins at 9. The rest of the races begin at 7:30. Again, Saturday, February 8th. And the winners of this trophy, there are 6 spots on there, so this is going to be an ongoing award every year. The winners of this trophy are going to go, the trophy is going to go to the team that has the best time. Now, I would personally like to see some more teams from the city here. This is the make people feel guilty for not being teams yet. I know the commission is doing a team.
Yes.
I know the Parks and Rec Department is doing a team, and not for nothing, but I've heard some trash talking from them. The Parks and Rec Department thinks that they're going to take the whole thing and this trophy belongs to them. So if that's the case, you might want to, I don't know, get a thing. I also heard something about some big fat cheaters that are talking about taking the fire department onto the commission team, and I don't know if I like that or not, but the fire department's going to get their own team together, hopefully, and the police department needs to get their own team together. He says, we will. Good. I believe development also has a team, and the city manager's office is putting together a team. Yay! Carice is going to outrun all of you. You better watch out. All right, so I'm not going to take up too much more of your time. I hope everybody comes out on February 8th. Sponsorship opportunities are still available, believe it or not. If you would like to help us out with that, that's great. Before next week, it is $30 to get a spot in the race. Kids are $10. And after next week, it's $35. It's all for a good cause to build some amazing playground equipment for an amazing park. Okay, I'm going to get yelled at real quick. What do you need to say?
I really wanted to speak.
Go ahead, quickly. Thank you for letting me come.
Thank you for letting me come. Bye-bye.
Do you want to say something?
Watch out, watch out, watch out.
I got it. Let go, Meg. Let go. Take it down. Let go. I'll get it in a second. Here you go.
Thank you for letting me come.
Awesome.
You're welcome.
Have a
You're
good
welcome.
night, everybody.
I know Parks and Rec are bragging that they're going to walk away with, so just to make sure they have a decent chance, I plan to run it backwards.
Mr. Mayor?
Blindfolded and uphill, right?
Right.
Mr. Mayor?
Both ways, yes.
I have a disclosure. We've been recruiting some personnel, and we've been holding time trials over at the fire department, and we recruited 8, 10 of the fastest runners in the Boynton Fire Department to run on the commission's team of the Boynton Front Runners. That's the name of the team here, and you will be seeing us in the sports pages.
Great. Good evening.
I'm Audrey Gerger. My address is 331 Northwest 1st Avenue.
Won't you talk into the mic, please? Thank you.
I first want to thank you for supporting our historical preservation, especially the high school. And I want to commend you on, and the city and probably the Chamber of Commerce for the wonderful events that you've had this past year that I attended. The Pirate Festival I thought was fantastic for the community, the children, costumes. Everyone had such a good time. It was a great event. The Christmas event I also thought was done very, very well. And it was amazing. I sat with my neighbor and we watched the dancing with the what do you call it, the group that you had on the stage, and the men were actually pulling the women to go up and dance, which is a rarity. But I do want to thank you. I think you're doing a great job.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Anyone else wish to address commission items not on the agenda? Seeing none, we will close the public audience and move on to administrative. We appoint eligible members of the community to serve on vacant positions in the city advisory boards. We have two boards that we have applicants for. The first one I want to take up, and I'll tell you what, Education and Youth Advisory Board. I have an appointment, and Commissioner Casello has an appointment. They're both alternate appointments. I would like to appoint Carmela Nanton. It's her first choice, and the reason I mention that is because I'm going to follow up on the next board appointment. But I would like to appoint Carmela Nanton, if I can get a second.
Second.
Is there all in favor?
Aye.
Commissioner Casello, Lori.
Yes, I'd like to appoint Laurie Wilkinson.
And this, she's been on that board since 2000, I think, so I don't know why she ain't on a regular, but it's an alternate appointment, is all we got open right now. Okay.
But she's done a great job,
Yeah.
and we look forward to keeping her on there.
Okay.
That's the young lady
Yeah,
that...
that's her.
That
That's
young
her.
lady we have to...
Yeah, Lori, so we have a motion and a
I have to
second.
contemplate that. Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Show the motion is unanimous. The next one is the Building Board of Adjustments and Appeals. And the reason I saved this for second is that board, we have really hard time finding people to serve on that board. It meets almost hardly ever, I want to say, but Carmela Nanton, who I just appointed to the Education Board, has agreed she's willing to serve on two boards. And because that board really needs people, because they can't have a meeting without a quorum, I would like, if the commission's okay with her serving on both boards, I'd like to also have a regular appointment that board. I'd like to nominate her to serve on that board also. That's her second choice.
Second.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Do we have a point of information down there?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not certain that she wants to serve on two boards. When she submitted her application, she gave us a first choice, a second choice, or a third choice.
And a fourth, and I read it, and I read it, and she said she would be willing to serve on two boards in the backup.
Okay.
Okay, that's
Sorry.
what I read, the backup, that's why I brought it up, yeah. Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Second.
Point of information.
Yes.
It is, I mean, it's within our bounds to put somebody on two different boards? I wasn't aware of
It's up to the
that.
commission. It's up if you don't want to
Is
do it.
there,
you don't
is that a
have to.
precedent? Has it been happened before?
Can we get a legal
I think
opinion on
we've
that?
had that discussion
It's
before,
been
and I
done
think we
before,
agreed.
and there are some conditions. You can't be on two quasi-judicial boards,
Okay.
but you can be on one quasi and one simple, straight advisory board, and
So
it has
buil-
been done before.
Building adjustments is quasi?
Is quasi.
All right.
The other one
Okay.
isn't. So I have a motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Show the motion is unanimous. Thank you. Okay, that takes us to the consent agenda, and item D was pulled by Vice Mayor Hay.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment here about this particular item. We have two viable candidates for both districts, District 4 and District 2. And it would be, we could save the city over $60,000 if we didn't have anyone running against them. I know we can't rule anything, it's just a point of interest, but that $60,000 could be used for other projects that we have here in the city. So I just wanted to make that statement and put it into the minds of your people. It's very expensive to have an election. With that, motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second?
Most second. Discussion?
Question.
I do.
Question, please. Would you please elaborate? I agree with what you're saying as far as to save the money, but please state what you said again. What do you want done?
I said it's a point of information.
That's it?
That's it.
Oh, okay.
I just want to plant it in the minds of the citizens of Boynton Beach as well as this commission.
Okay.
I have a motion, second, on item D. All in favor?
Aye.
So the motion unanimous.
Mr. Mayor, can I just real quickly in that same vein here, I've been talking to the supervisor of elections, and it'll be brought up at a later point in time, but as far as our filing date, where our city clerk has to, right now, she has to prepare as is going to be an election, and she won't know to the final answer until February 12th, and I believe the election's March 12th, which gives her a short window. And what I will be bringing to the board at a future date is that maybe we can make our filing period a little earlier. It will give us a better idea who the candidates are, or if there are any candidates, and it'll allow our city clerk more time to prepare for one way or the other.
But are we not
Do we
governed?
set that? Do we set that?
We'll set that.
We don't set that,
No,
it's
right.
set by
No,
law.
no,
And
it's set by law.
there's some talk in the works
Right,
about
that's-
a possible change.
Right, and that's what I've been talking to the supervisor of election on.
Okay. All right. Item E, Commissioner Merker, you pulled that.
Yeah, please. I see no address. Is there the representative here for that? Okay. Thank you.
Hello, hello, Scott Klein, Economic Development Manager.
Do you have any specific
no,
question,
I'm sorry.
Commissioner?
Basically, I'm saying, who are they? Where is the location?
Oh, okay, they're here tonight.
Okay,
Victor and Joey, they are here from Joey's Bakery. They are a startup.
Okay.
They joined us just a couple months ago.
And where is your business located?
What is the address of your business?
I
You
can't.
need to come forward. You need to come forward, please.
Isn't it in the
Thank you.
Yeah, it's in the
background?
In front of Home Depot?
It's in the.
Yeah,
it's
I
in
didn't know
the-
the exact address. It's the old
It's in the
Quiznos
background.
in front of Home Depot.
Hello, my name is Joey Weiss. I'm the owner of VWF Imports Joey's Home Bakery Gluten Free, and the location of my business is at 1532 Southwest 8th Street, Boynton Beach, 33426. That's your question,
I'm
right?
curious.
Okay.
I'll sample the food.
All right, we do
and I'll take it from
gluten-free.
there.
We bake everything fresh at our location, and we do everything by hand and in-house by our pastry chefs. And
Over
we-
there by Home Depot.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
I just want to make another statement. I want to thank the Economic Development and the entire West Wing for helping us put together the store. Without their help, we couldn't have done this project. Joey's Home Bakery Gluten Free is the only fresh baked gluten free bakery in all of Southeast Florida. So, and we're home here in Boynton Beach.
I may move from West Palm Beach to here too. I like Boynton Beach so much. But what happened is gluten-free diet has been very popular in the last 3 years. But my husband was diagnosed with celiac disease 12 years ago. So he's allergic to wheat, gluten, and a lot of the other ingredients. So he wasn't able to go to any public retailer and purchase bread or baked goods like everybody else here. So lately, a lot of people are having problem with wheat and gluten allergies or a wheat intolerance. And a lot of children nowadays have autism or other disability being put on a gluten-free diet. And many of these parents are having problem finding fresh baked, gluten-free baked goods. And not all mommy are good bakers. That's why we're here, provide an alternative for fresh baked, gluten-free bread and baked goods. And we're very happy to join the city of Boynton Beach, and we felt very welcome from the whole town of Boynton Beach from the day we submitted the plan to renovated the whole store, put in new gas line, electric supply, our brand new oven, and make the space from a simple sandwich store to a really state-of-the-art bakery that providing fresh baked goods every day.
Thank you.
Thank you. May I just say thank you for answering my questions, and also good luck.
Thank you so much.
And your address is in our backup, so we knew where you were.
Okay, thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Show the motion unanimous. Okay, next on the consent.
Next is nothing.
Takes us to
no.
new business. Discussion regarding the commission attendance at the Palm Beach County Day in Tallahassee on March 4th through the 5th, 2014. City Manager, would you want to?
Sure. Each year, the Palm Beach County League of Cities coordinates a day up in Tallahassee for legislative purposes. And since the city has recently hired a lobbyist to be able to reinstate a legislative agenda for the city and reach out to our legislators on many things that are up floating in the legislature now that may have an impact on the city, more to the negative than the positive. It's an opportunity for our elected officials to work with our lobbyists and go up to Tallahassee for a couple days, and they focus just on, they kind of set themselves aside just for Palm Beach County. I would encourage the city to participate in that this year. We do have an adopted legislative agenda, and there are funds in the commission's budget to send an official, and we do have a travel policy for the commission, so any travel that's done by any of the elected officials needs to come before the board to be approved for the expenditure of the funds and basically decide who the delegate will be to attend. So that's the item that's brought forward to you tonight.
I will, I know I've already, when I saw that, I talked to the city manager and I told her I would be more than willing to go. I think it's important that the mayor and the city manager are at that to go one-on-one with those people up there to let them know what our interests are in Boynton. So,
Mr. Mayor, just
yes, Commissioner.
My understanding, there's X amount of dollars in there, and I'd like to also go as a commissioner. I was told commissioners have the right to go. I'd like to volunteer. I feel with my knowledge of government, I also would be an asset.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Just for a point of information, that March 4th, I believe, is one of the dates, and that falls on one of our commission meeting dates.
That's correct. Yeah, so I will be out, and so I think it's important that the rest of the commission is here. Me and the city manager both be out in Tallahassee, so I think it's important the rest of the commission is here
Well,
for
I
that
have
meeting.
a comment, and I think the city manager then should also be here, because she also obviously is the guiding force and answers the question. So again, I reiterate that I have no problem with Lori going, but I would also like to go.
Well, we have an assistant city manager that can fill in for Lori, so we have no problem there.
Well, we also have a vice mayor, and we have other commissioners, and again, I reiterate, I would like to go.
I understand you'd like to go, but I think we have limited funds in that
Well,
budget
that's
item
what
for
I
us to go,
checked,
so.
and I checked, and I believe there is enough funds for it. So Lori, am I wrong or right?
I think we funded $1,500 for the Palm Beach County Day. So I think we're looking, it's probably going to be about $1,200 with airfare. That's the tough part, is the airfare getting up to Tallahassee. Couple nights stay in a hotel and the registration. So it's about $1,200. That's probably enough for one.
Mr. Mayor, if I may?
Yes.
I think it's important that we have the leader of the commission and our city manager at this, and that the commissioners stay home and take care of city business while you're gone.
Okay, yes.
I also feel that we need to have the city manager and the mayor to attend this, and the rest of us should carry on here at home based on the availability of funds, because I can easily say that I want to go too.
Well, you have in the past.
I'm still talking.
Okay.
And so I just say to this commission that we need to, that's why we have an assistant, as been stated. I'll be here maybe, okay? And so we need to carry on the business of the city.
Is there a motion?
Motion?
Motion to approve the mayor and the city manager to go on this trip.
Second?
The motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Opposed.
So the motion passes 4-1. Next item is to evaluate potential property acquisition from Palm Beach County near Lake Ida Park. Mr. Fitzpatrick, I think you want to address this.
Sure. As you know, I've been talking about this since before I got elected, and it's in your backup. I put together a packet, and Jeff Livergood put together a packet. And in 2004, there was a greenways plan for the city of Boynton Beach, and like most plans, or a lot of plans, it's kind of been sitting on the shelf. So this is one portion of the plan which could be fairly easily implemented. And if this property is purchased, it provide a node which would eventually link up Lake Ida Park and the dog park there with Calusa Park, and therefore you provide access to the dog park for Hunter's Run, Gulfview Harbor, and Chapel Hill. And now the other option is to sell this for the 4 acres for private development. And if you did that, yes, the city would increase some property taxes from the, say, 4 to 6 houses on this property. However, I believe that, I don't know what the net would be, because if you build something, then you need to also provide services. But if the green space is protected as green space and it does provide this linkage, I believe that will help increase the property value with no increase in services to well over 1,000 homes. So just on a cost benefit wise, I believe it will help the tax base more than 4 additional homes. And as I pointed out in 750, the population is increasing, predicted in South Florida, increased by 50% from 6 million to 9 million. And if Boynton got its fair share, which I don't think we need to really strive to do that, would be another 35,000. So, but scarcity, you know, increases value. So if the quality of life is in Boynton, then we would have a better chance of selecting the type of people, the incomes we would prefer in Boynton Beach. So I think, for all in all, you know, if we don't purchase it now, it's not going to be there in the future. So I believe for the future of Boynton Beach that this would be a good acquisition. I'm proposing that we offer the county $100,000, which is cheap for 4 acres plus 4.5 acres of lakefront property, and I believe, I'm optimistic that that would be an accepted figure, because it would stay in public use, which the county commissioners I've talked to understand that, and plus it would link up Calusa Park and Lake Ida Park, which are 2 large county parks, so they understand the value of that. And also there would be a codicil that if our city somewhere down the road ever decided to turn it around and sell it, that the county would get the difference in profit, so they wouldn't feel like they were being, you know, taken for a ride. So that's the proposal I would prefer to make. And as you know, I brought this up during the budget hearings and made the motion to raise the millage rate Lori's budget was at 7.8. I made the motion to make it 7.9 and put that in reserves. And part of the reason I did that was so that, you know, there would be funds available this year to make this purchase.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry to, you were not the one that suggested the military. It was yours truly. It's on the record. Yes, like everybody else did.
Go ahead, Vice Mayor Hay.
I have no problem with the acquisition of this piece of property. I think it would be a good move. The concern that I have is access to it. I tried to access it from the northern end, and I went through the residential area, and I came to a gate that was closed and couldn't go any further. I went on the south end, coming up Lake Idle Road, and just before you get to I-95, there's a little road that runs parallel to I-95. That got you all the way to the end, but then you could see across the canal the property in question. Okay, and when you say access to Lake Idle Park, I'm wondering, are you proposing building a little bridge across that canal, or how would the access? So the access is the first question I have. Secondly, maintenance. What is going to cost to maintain that? Those are two issues that I have.
Can I respond?
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yes, that's one of the reasons that it's being sold, that its value is believed to be between $200,000 and $300,000 and not more. One of the reasons is that there is no public access currently, because my understanding is in the state of Florida, you don't have to provide access to a landlocked. If you're a property owner, you don't have to give somebody access to a landlocked parcel. And there's a 23-acre. It's in the backup. There's a 23-acre parcel to the north, which is the former Grimes factory, who at one time was the third richest person in the U.S. because he invented the lights at the end of airplanes wings. And so he came down and set up his factory there. And then when he died, it was sold to BE Aerospace. And then after the 9/11 attacks, the airline industry took a big collapse and dive. And this was a marginal factory because, you know, it's been built up around it, so that got closed down. So it's been basically abandoned or vacated since the 9/11, shortly after the 9/11 attacks. And at the height of the boom, it was rezoned residential to 23 acres. So it is set up to be developed. And my point is that having, we control the development. And so if we buy it, then the next step would be to go talk to the current owner and set up how to get access. And we have, you know, conditions of approval for how that those 23 acres are going to be developed. So I think we have a extremely strong bargaining position to get access. What was the other question?
Maintenance.
Maintenance. What I would like to see there is right now is currently what you call, it's been bulldozed at one time, so there's mostly junk plant species on there, like Melaleuca or something, you know, Australian pines or something. So in the course of researching this, the initial thing is I didn't want us to buy it because who wants to pay out the money? But the county is definitely wanting to sell it. And we talked to Environmental Resource Management Director Roy Robbins, and to see if had any use for it. But it's too small a parcel for an use. But he talked to us about that. He thought the county would provide the expertise and also try to help find funding to recontour the shoreline to make it more like a natural lake and plant it in native species such as cypress and maple and palmettos and pines, which are minor or relatively cheap maintenance because they are native species, and that's the stuff that's supposed to be growing there naturally. So it's not like you know, it's not a high, that kind of landscaping would not be high maintenance.
I still want to finish up on something. I appreciate that. Just a point of information.
Did you want to talk about the bridge?
Well, if you want to comment on that, fine, but I don't need to. I want to talk about that point, that 1/10 of a millage rate, which generates about $300,000. My understanding of that, and I want to be corrected if I'm not right, I thought that was going to go into the reserve, but not necessarily earmarked to purchase this piece of land. Isn't that the way it went in our budget meeting? I don't remember hearing earmarking this money for the purchase of that.
I comment
that land.
since I-
One moment,
Wait,
one moment.
I want
He's
to
not
hear.
finished.
I want to hear.
I'm the
from
one.
city
Excuse me.
manager.
Wait, he's speaking. I'll get
wanna
to you.
hear
I'm going
from
to
the
give you a
city
chance
manager
to you talk as long
on
as you
that
want.
particular
We'll-
item, if you could comment on it.
Yeah, and I didn't get a chance to listen to it all today, but Judy, I asked Judy to do some research for me and pull the excerpt of the budget workshops. And there was discussion, and Commissioner Fitzpatrick, during discussions of taking the millage up 1/10, he had expressed his desire of what he'd like to see done with that money, as well as the rest of the commission. The funds, at the end of the day, the motion was to increase the millage, but it was not appropriated. That funding, that additional 1/10 of a mill was not appropriated to any specific project, which by default goes into the fund balance. It could be appropriated at any time that the commission's desire, but the motion was not specific to that appropriation, although it was part of the discussion.
Okay, I just want to get that clarified. Thank you.
Commissioner Merkner?
Thank you. I'm sorry, Commissioner. Vice
It's okay.
Commissioner. It's wonderful to want something, but is it appropriate at the time? My research shows Chapel Hill, FP&L Park, the Girl Scout Park, regarding maintenance, regarding taking care of, is a priority and needs that kind of work. To engulf, to bring in, for the glory of the color green, is a nice idea. But can the city truly afford it? When I proposed the increase in the millage, which everyone agreed to, it was of a savings. This past year, 2013, the city of Boynton Beach has improved its status. Hopefully the year 2014 will get even better. I think it's our obligation as city commissioners and for the city employers to maintain and keep up what we have. So unless I'm incorrect in what I'm saying, there is a line of command on which comes first, which is already our property that we own. Can we afford it? It sounds wonderful, but I question that factor very strongly. I also question, and I did a little work, but I need more work, in the sense of what codes will be needed to be enforced there, like the cutting of the property, the grass, I'm sorry, the perimeters. This is money. Again, here's a free bottle of water. Sounds wonderful. It's not free. The other factor is the word negotiation is being used. The property is worth $300,000, and a little research, there's a property right adjacent to it that was sold in February of 2013 for $2 million. That's a lot of money. That's a fact. So, again, what's reality and what's not reality, and what is our duty regarding what we have already? Are we maintaining it properly? A few months ago, what was brought up was the beach. That, to me, is one of our, if not our biggest asset. That has to be maintained, and I'd like to see developed with new ideas. That we know is already working. So again, it's timing. Life is luck and timing. I don't feel at this present time the timing to spend money is appropriate. I want to know from the employees and from the fellow commissioners, why are we spending more money? When I hear commissioners every month saying we have to, oh, what does it cost? What does it cost? Why are we spending money? Well, this is a prime example. Is the need there, or is it a want? It's like a child wanting something because the other child has it, but that doesn't mean you can afford it or maintain it or keep it. And when you buy property, you talk of the future. I like to talk about the present. Are we in the black? Are we in the red? Are we level? Are we going downhill? Or are we going uphill? So, personally speaking, I'd like to hear the exact number, and that's negotiations, but in summation, in summary, is the fact that I don't find that we're in a place to spend extra money. I'd rather keep it and maintain and beautify what we have and move forward.
I'd like to say, first of all, Commissioner Fitzpatrick, I share your desire for more green space in this city. I think that's important as we move forward. And I want to also compliment you. I read every word of the research and backup you did. Outstanding job. Put a lot of work into that. I know that didn't come easy. I know you've met with some of the county people already on this. And from what I'm reading on there, it doesn't sound like the county wants to do anything with it. They were willing to sell it to us, but they want. And I also don't know if we can get it for $100,000, but I think you can pursue that and find out. Let us know if they'll go down to that. So that was my concern, is what it actually will cost us, and probably the $100,000 would be a good buy. I think that as the Vice Mayor said, access is a big question yet. I have a question. Maybe before we make a decision on whenever we do it, we probably need to check with the attorney and see if whoever owns the northern piece, can we, as a condition of approval, make them give us access through their property to this site. That's a legal question that would have to be cleared up. If they won't, then we have no access at all to that, no matter what we do with it. And I know there's talk about building a bridge from that piece into Lake Ida, so over that body of water to the south of the property. However, the land on the edge there is, I believe, controlled by the Lake Worth Drainage District, and it's been my experience in the past that the Lake Worth Drainage won't give up an inch of their land. Maybe you know more about that than I do, if you've already talked to them, but they're really hard people to deal with. They just shake their heads at you. So that's something we'd want to know too, whether that would ever be a possibility, because then we would have a connection from the south if we couldn't get a connection from the north. So that's kind of the the concerns I would have there. So I would encourage you to continue forward and see if we can answer some of these questions. I'd love to look at that. Commissioner Castillo.
Thank you, Mayor. Commissioner Fitzpatrick, you really should be commended. That was your backup material here is filled with knowledge and history, and who would known that the blinking wing lights of airplanes was developed right here in Boynton Beach. It was amazing. I like to look not only at the present but the future. And the one thing they're not making any more of is land. And if we have an opportunity to land bank this piece of property for a fair price, I think we should really, really consider that. I'm not so concerned about building bridges and walkways at right this point now. It won't happen in our terms, or maybe even the next commission's terms. But we can set a piece of beautiful land aside and let the future of Boynton rest on it. I would encourage Commissioner Fitzpatrick to continue forward on this issue and come back to the commission and see what actually we can or can't do.
Yes,
I'd just like to echo what the mayor and Commissioner Salo has just said. I would just X them off my list here. The fact about I did read all the material, and you did an outstanding job. The one point I want to add to what's been already said, that it's not necessarily a need, but it is an opportunity. And as been stated, last time I heard, the Lord is not making any more land. And so it's an opportunity that we could get this, and if $100,000 they will go for that, because they don't really not going to do anything with it. We will certainly be want to take that and have it so that we can control what goes in and all that. So I concur.
One other thing I'll throw in there, there was some concern about taking it out of the reserve funds, the money, but that's still down the road here. We can look at how to get that, but there's maybe opportunities to get the money out of some park and rec area too. So we might even be able to pay for it out of that. So, yes, Commissioner Murphy.
I have a question. No one stated it, so I'll state it. What do the employees who handle the parks have to say? Can we afford it? Should we do it now? We're giving our opinions. We don't work it. This is not our specific expertise, so I'd like to know what Parks and Rec and whatever other department that's involved with it, should we move forward? Do they recommend it? Is it the time? Like I said earlier, there's other parcels of land that are they being maintained properly? I think that's the first question and answer. What are employees and departments thinking of this idea? Should we do it? Shouldn't we do it? I think that's the best way to start.
Mr. Mayor,
yes,
if I may,
so.
I think that's a little premature because we don't know what the selling price will be and what needs to be done to it. So I think that's a moot point at this point.
Well, no, it isn't, because I've done my homework already and I've spoken to these people. It's not a moot point. The point is, the point is we're negating the people who work these departments. And the idea, if they say yes or no, is a trigger, is informative. So to say it's too soon, if our employees say, or our lawyer or whatever department head we have, or our city manager says he or she doesn't think it's a good idea, how do you say it's premature? It's ridiculous. They're the ones that are doing the homework.
Vice Mayor Hay, no, go.
I'll just make a quick statement. We are going to get input from all sources. But remember that we are still the elected officials and the city commissioners, and we make the final decision, okay? Not the people. That we get input from them. They are staff, and they give us input to make the decision. That's why we were elected to run the city based upon the information that we have and move forward. So,
there's one point of what you just said. I agree with what you said, but you need the information. You take the recommendations, but if you haven't asked what they think or they feel should be done,
we will get
then you're double talking. That should be the first thing.
Excuse me. As we move forward.
Excuse me. That should be the first thing before we consent to anything. What does the employees and the different departments feel? Should it be? Should we move forward or not? I'm talking negative now, but if I hear the employees saying, this is a good idea, this is what we should do, obviously I can change my mind too. But why are we running into something blindly? And that's what it sounds like.
Commissioner Fitzpatrick.
Well, all right. First of all, just like if the city attorney could possibly comment on if we could make something like access a conditional approval for.
There are legal ways to achieve access to landlocked property. The facts control each examination and decision on whether it applies to a specific property, but it's probably doable.
Thank you.
Also, I'm sure there's other choices that can be brought to the attention of the property owner to the north, which would increase it, but I just don't feel comfortable right now talking about strategy, but I would be confident that we could get access. Also, I'm kind of shocked and puzzled by Commissioner Merker's not strong support of this, because before, when we were both candidates, we are not allowed to talk to each other now because, sunshine law. But when you're candidates, you can talk to whoever you want. And if you recall, we had a get-together breakfast at the Boynton Diner, in which lasted over an hour, and it was very amicable. And I'd say half of my discussion was about this, and I thought we had an agreement on this. So I'm kind of puzzled that you're not very supportive right now.
Let me comment on that because it's on the record what I said then at another meeting, and unfortunately you forgot what I said. I said we met for about an hour, and 45 minutes was you talking and me listening, and the other 15 minutes was ordering food and eating. I never committed to it, and I said this at another meeting that we had. So I'm reiterating and saying it, and if I have to pull it out on minutes that were taken, I'll prove that I'm accurate and to the point. So I'm not saying no to this. See, what no one's hearing is it's the steps you take. When you open up a business, you can go in many different directions, just like you can advertise a different market, or you can buy food from a different company. It's the idea that the foundation is the employees who work it, who know it, who maintain it. We need their input first. The idea that you think it's a good idea, kudos to you, and kudos to the work that the research that you've done. But I want to hear the people who are in charge of parks.
You already made that point.
Well, I'm saying it again because he's contradicting something I never said. And you're contradicting and cutting in because this is on the record what I'm saying. So the point is, if it's the right move, I want to hear at least the opinion from the different departments who handle the maintenance, that handle the parks, and handle anything else that's pertinent. It's, again, isn't it common sense?
What do you want?
Motion?
Yeah, let's do something. We need direction. We don't really need a motion, right? We just need some direction where to go with this.
I would like, yes, direction from as far as I know, we're at the point to make an offer to the county. I don't know what else I can research, really.
Okay.
I would prefer that we, go forward tonight and make a motion to to instruct staff to negotiate with the county to buy it. I mean, if there's something else you want to do, fine, but seriously, I don't know what else I can do.
Yeah, I have an idea. Let's sit down with the employees and get what they feel is right or wrong. That's the logical thing. Let's have a special meeting. Let's hear what they think. Is it the right time? Can we afford it? Can we budget it? Let's hear what they have to say. It's common sense.
What does the commission like to do?
I'd like to reinforce Commissioner Fitzpatrick's efforts to go into negotiations, come back before the commission with a final price or the stipulations, and then as we can make an informed decision at that time.
Is that a motion?
Yeah.
I have a
Motion is second.
discussion. Who is going to do the negotiating? No offense, I don't see that as your expertise. I would assume you would bring someone in from the city to sit down and do the negotiation. Your background doesn't seem like you're a negotiator. You may want something, but I would want a professional negotiating with the man who's in charge. What's his name? I can't think of his name. Weissman or something like that, who's the charge. Believe me, he's not an amateur. So I want a professional alongside you if you're going to do this.
Offense taken. The point is, the county commission, I think we should instruct the city attorney to draft a resolution, and of course, we would talk staff to staff.
I second that.
You have a motion? Okay. Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Opposed.
So the motion passes 4-1. Next item is stormwater drainage. Vice Mayor Hay.
Yes, we have discussed this in length. I just wanted to echo what the Frazier family brought up. I happened to go down and personally investigate and help people on Northwest 1st Street doing all the flooding. I just happened to be in their house when the cameras came along and took pictures. And of all the pictures they took, they got me on the cell phone. But the bottom line is, as she stated so eloquently, we do need drainage in there. And I know that we are going to do a study, and We don't have enough money to do the entire city, but that's okay. What we do need to do is take a look at the hard-hit areas, the worst areas where we know we have a problem. And Northwest First Street is just one, and also in Forest Park and other places, the acreages, and et cetera. So I guess my point here, I did, when I left Northwest First Street, I went down Seacrest, and I actually counted the number of drainage between US 1 and Seacrest Boulevard. There were 24 drainage and 5 runoff in that little large swell just west of the railroad track of US 1. They had some runoff concrete thing there. And then one block away, there was nothing. So I think we really need to elevate this, and look like we are really going to do our due diligence on this, because I think this flood and this rain was more or less an eye-opener for the city of Boynton Beach, to show us that we have been negligent in certain areas, and we need to correct that. And so if the citizens of Boynton will work with us, we are certainly going to try our best and rectify these inadequacies when it comes to flooding, because it's one thing to be flooded, but when you start losing your property, you start losing your furniture, you start losing your clothing, your floors, everything, that's disheartening. So I just wanted to bring this subject to the commission, but like it's been stated, we are going to be looking in that. And I think we have some CIP dollars in the CIP fund for improvements in utilities that we could probably take a look at. And so let's address these issues as a team, okay? Both this commission and staff, along with our employees. So that's the point that I wanted to make. Thank you.
I just, let me just, I personally agree with everything you're saying there. My only question, you said something about you counted the drains when you went down Seacrest. Did you mean Gateway?
I'm sorry, Gateway.
Gateway, yeah. Well, that's
Gateway,
what I thought you meant.
yeah.
That's what I want to tell you. The reason they're there is I was there when that happened. We owned that road from 95 to US 1. The city owned it, and I worked with the county. I got the county to take that road back from the city. They widened it. They did all the drainage. They did all the landscaping. They did the curb and gutters. They paid for it. The city did not. The county did that, and after they got finished doing it, I had them give them back to us. And now we have to maintain that. But they're the ones that did the gutter and sewers. That's why they got so many good ones. The county paid for all that.
Can you do the same thing for Northwest?
I'd like to. I'd like to.
Not a miracle one.
But anyway, but I agree with what you're saying. We got to look and see the best we can do with what the money we have and see. Commissioner Fitzpatrick.
Well, I'd just like to make a comment on that. There's 2 ridges running down Boynton north to south that are ancient dunes that was the ocean front. And in the dunes, between the dunes where I live, there's on Southwest 6th Avenue at the bottom of west side of the first dune on Southwest 6th Avenue. There is a giant hole which is basically 2 lots big and probably 5 or 6 feet deep, and surrounded by chain link fence so kids don't get in there and drown. And that's how it's done up there. And in Ocean Avenue, when I was a kid, we always went to Ocean Avenue after rainstorms, because we knew there was going to be 12 inches of water to ride our bikes through. And what I'm saying is, there's a lot of houses in Boynton Beach. A lot of this used to be sloughs and low areas where the water sat for 4 and 5 months out of the year. And there's just some places that should have never been built on. And if you're between the 2 dunes, that's one of them. So I just don't want to give anybody false hope that it's going to be an easy fix. And it might come down to big bulldozing a couple houses and digging a big hole, because the reason there's no drainage there now, because it is a low place. You can't, water doesn't flow uphill, so that's where it's running. And I don't know if you put a drain there, where's it going to run to? So it's not It's not going to be an easy fix.
One other
Yeah,
question.
Vice Mayor.
This is a question for, I don't know whether the attorney or the city manager would have the answer, but these insurance companies, they make the statement that this is a no-flood area, and yet we have something like this. Do we as a city, do we have input in that decision making, or is that strictly one that is done by the insurance company to determine what is and what is not a flood area in our city?
I understand it, the feds, the FEMA, establishes flood zones, and we have a flood map for our entire community. They come out and they do the measurements and so forth as far as what areas are flood zones. That doesn't mean your house won't possibly get some water in it with a bad rainstorm. You know, I don't know what the specific criteria are on, but the insurance company would require them to have the flood insurance if they were in a flood zone. They're not technically in a zone, so to speak, so the insurance carriers don't require it. That doesn't mean it does not behoove people to get it anyhow for these exact circumstances. But the federal government, isn't that true, with FEMA, establishes our flood maps.
I guess I hear what you're saying, but many of the homeowners would probably buy the insurance if they knew they were in a flood zone area. But when you're told by the insurance company that you're not in a flood zone area, I can see the logic in homeowners saying, oh, well, I don't need flood insurance then because I'm not in the flood zone area. It just seems something needs to be tweaked here, something needs to be adjusted. And I'm not sure what the answer is, but I have this concern that there's not false information, misleading, is that a better word?
False sense of security, I think.
Yeah, false sense of security.
I just had this exact conversation about 2 months ago with my mother, who's 87 years old, and the flood zones change. She's not required to have flood insurance, but she called me. Should I have it? Which, you know, the neighborhood floods and blah blah. And I told her, you know, because you're not in a zone doesn't mean the possibility of getting water into the home in a circumstance such as this. This was, again, not a common. We won't see this again for, well, unfortunately, I think we're getting these rain events are probably going to become a little more frequent than we'd like to think they are with our climate change and our sea level rise. You're going to start seeing a lot more serious issues facing us as a coastal community. But you know, my advice to my mom was, Mom, pay the extra $400 and get it, because if your house gets flooded for any reason, you will not have any coverage. And you know, she did, but it's a personal. It's a totally.
Call.
I think in those circumstances, it's a personal financial decision.
Commissioner Merker.
Thank you.
I'd like to say something, though this is not my area of expertise of insurance. I'm in insurance. Unfortunately, I think we should look into it, but unfortunately, people don't read the small print in contracts. Insurance companies are very smart people. They have a lot of backup lawyers, engineers, whatever needed. So the heart and the soul of us wanting to help people is one thing. But like I said earlier, you need to read the contracts, exactly what it says. When things happen to people, all of us, unfortunately, we react emotionally, not necessarily intellectually. So the point is, before we move forward, we should see what the contracts of the different people say, and that will confirm whether or not we should move forward or not.
Okay. We're through with that item? Any other comments? Okay. We'll move on to legal. Proposed ordinance number 14-001. City Attorney, would you like to read the title?
Thank you, Mayor. An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Boynton Beach, Florida, amending the Code of Ordinances, Part 2, Chapter 10, Article 3, Section 1050, definitions in Section 1052, storing, parking, or leaving wrecked or inoperable motor vehicles on private property, prohibited and declared a nuisance exceptions, to clarify the time limit for compliance, providing for conflict severability, codification, and an effective date.
This is ordinance number 14-001 on first reading. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
A motion is second. Any other discussion? Please call the roll.
Yes.
Commissioner Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Commissioner Casello,
Yes.
Mayor Taylor,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Hay.
Aye.
Vote is 5-0.
Item B is pursuant to Section 286011, parentheses 8, Florida statutes, the city attorney is requesting a private attorney-client session of the city commission either before or after the February 4th, 2014 city commission meeting to discuss pending litigation in the following case: Olin Properties, a Florida Corporation, Secured Holdings, Inc., Foreign Corporation, Plaintiffs versus Quantum Park Property Owners Association, Inc. Everybody got that info? February 4th, prior to, you want to do it?
Yeah, I would like to do it before.
Okay. How much time do you need? Half hour?
Half hour to 45 minutes.
Okay.
45 to play it safe.
Want to meet at 5:45? That gives us 45 minutes before the meeting.
I would prefer doing it after. It might tend to cut down on talking to get things done quicker.
And that probably gives you a little more time to get here, too, from school, right?
Well, I wasn't going to bring it up.
Okay.
Okay,
You want to do it
I
after?
don't have a problem.
Yeah, we'll do it after that.
Let's do it.
We'll do it after, give them a little break. Is that okay, City Attorney?
That's fine. In attendance will be the members of the city commission, city manager, and myself, and we'll arrange for the court reporter. And we'll take about 45 minutes at the conclusion of the city commission's regular agenda.
Very good. Proposed ordinance number 14002 on first reading.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Boynton Beach, Florida, rescinding ordinance 13014, which changed the land use designation for a parcel of land located at 125 East Ocean Avenue from public and private governmental institutional to mixed use, restoring public and private governmental institutional land use to the property, providing for conflict severability and an effective date.
Proposed ordinance 14-002 on first reading. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I just have just for my information, is this going to enhance the value of the property because we're changing the use?
It's turning it back to what it was prior before we changed it.
Okay, so then that leads to the second one. Why did we change it?
Because it was the old high school property.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we've changed it so they could do whatever they're going to do. Now he's not doing it, so we're turning it back to us.
Back to us.
Thank you.
Point of information, I'd like to ask the city attorney, I mean, you made I assume this resolution ordinance came from you, so it doesn't matter, but...
Oh, it didn't come to me.
No, I meant from the city attorney,
yeah.
sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But we're in, being sued over this. Should we leave it alone till after the suit's over?
It would not be on the agenda if it was my opinion that you should leave it alone. I think it's better to conform the land use to what was in place at the time that the action was taken. The contemplated public and private partnership and the transfer of the real property never occurred, so there's no reason to leave it in the way it was modified at that meeting.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Please call the roll.
Commissioner Fitzpatrick,
Aye.
Commissioner Casella,
Aye.
Mayor Taylor.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Hay,
Aye.
Commissioner Merker.
Yes.
The vote is 5-0.
Okay, it takes us to the brand promise statement. Breeze into Boynton Beach, America's gateway to the Gulf Stream. We stand adjourned.